Hello, my name is Matt. I'm one of the trainers for CirclePOS. I also have over 15 years experience as a bookseller. In this video, I'll be highlighting some of the Xero integration features that CirclePOS offers. The 4 topics that I will be displaying are sales invoices, accounts payable, Cashup reporting, and applying and syncing credit notes. There will be timestamps provided below if you'd like to skip to a specific part. We'll be focusing on the practical applications of these features in the day-to-day operations of a bookstore. If you are interested in more information about setting up a Xero integration with your CirclePOS website, I would recommend contacting our fantastic support team for assistance. I will have contact details to them in the description below. So we'll start by first creating an invoice. I have placed this under a school. I've rung some items up into POS. Select account sale here to generate an invoice for them and post that. So now that we have successfully created an invoice, we can view that by going to accounts, age receivable, sales invoice. We can see the invoice that I've created there. You can also see that it is red, so it has not had payment made on it yet. To sync that through to Xero, we have a couple of ways of doing that. You can see here that it is not synced at the moment. So we can tick this box here on the right hand side and sync that directly through to Xero from there. However, you can also do the same thing by clicking on the invoice, and there is the option there to sync it to Xero. So we'll use that one now. We will sync that to Xero. It says that it is syncing. We can see here that it has successfully synced. You can also see the Xero ID for this particular invoice down the bottom. And if we click on that, it will open up in Xero and show us the details of the invoice. I'm just going to create another invoice here so we can sync it using the other method. Bring up 5 items for this particular school. I've selected account sale, and I'm going to post that to create the invoice. So if I go into accounts, age receivable, sales invoices again, you can see the second invoice that I have created for this school. I can see that it has not been synced. The previous one has, and I will now sync it using this method. And we can see that it has successfully synced with Xero. Both of the invoices have the tick box here, and if I click on the Xero ID, it will open up this invoice within Xero. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at accounts payable. So I've got a inwards goods job on the screen here. I've balanced it all. I'm happy with what I can see on the screen. So now I'm just going to load stock and fill orders. And if I go into accounts, accounts payable, I can see the supplier that I did the inwards goods job for. And I can see the actual job itself. So first and foremost, I can sync this directly from here to Xero. And I can see here that the invoice was successfully synced. And I now have a Xero ID, which I can click on. And that will open up this particular invoice within Xero. Now, one of the ways that I can make payment on this invoice is down the bottom here. I have an option to make payment directly through CirclePOS. So I can choose my payment method, my amounts. Also have an option here to put any reference information in that I might have to do, and I can press go. I can see here that the payment has gone through, and I can sync this with Xero again. And I can see that this invoice has been synced a second time. If I click on the Xero ID again, I can see that there is nothing due and payment has been made. If you do your payments through your Xero system instead, perhaps by doing batch payments, etc., this information here will sync back to the CirclePOS back office and show that payment was made through Xero instead of Circle. Of course, you don't need to sync your invoices individually. You can certainly go into accounts, accounts payable, purchase invoices, set the time frame that you are interested in looking at, and sync all the outstanding invoices. That's successfully synced now, and I can see that 4 invoices and 1 credit note have been synced with Xero. If I hover over the tick box, it will show me the Xero ID for these invoices and credit notes and give me a clickable link which will open up that in Xero. Now we'll take a look at syncing the till Cashup or Cashup Report to Xero. So I'm not going to go through the process of actually doing till Cashup here. I've just entered in all of the information that I had to, and I'm ready to finalize this process. So hitting bank and confirming that. Now from my Cashup report, I can see all of the payment methods that have gone through during this time period, and I have the option, much like the invoices, to sync with Xero. So I can click that and confirm that, and that has now successfully synced with Xero. If I go down the bottom, I can see the blue tick, and that displays the Xero ID. So I can click on that, and that will open up the information within Xero. So what this creates is a manual journal. Think of it like a draft invoice perhaps. Gives you the opportunity, or gives the bookkeeper the opportunity, to go through, look at any discrepancies, highlight them, change them if they need to. We can go back to our back office, we can drop the entire Cashup process, redo it if we have to, and then resync that to Xero. Before we continue, we can see here we can have multiple stores. So if you do have multiple stores within your group, all of the information for those stores during that time period will be displayed in the manual journal, meaning that the bookkeeper doesn't have to do this for each store specifically. They can go in, confirm that information's correct, and as soon as they're happy with everything on the screen, if there's no reason to change anything or to question anything with the stores, they can press post, and that Cashup has now been submitted into Xero. The last thing I wanted to touch on really quickly was applying credit notes to invoices. There's something really common when you do your returns. We scroll to the bottom of this invoice, we can see that there is an amount owing. However, we can see that there are unallocated credit notes here. So if I choose to apply this credit note to this invoice, I can now see that that has been applied, and I would just sync this with Xero again. I can see now that this invoice has been successfully synced. So if I scroll down to the Xero ID and click on that, I can now see that there is only $19.75 owing on that invoice, and that the credit note has been applied. So that was a quick run through of the CirclePOS integration with Xero. If you have any questions about Xero integration, there will be links in the description below to our trainers and support team.